Rev up your engines! We got a 2007 Ford Edge, the first one that they made in the United States, 2007. They made them as a crossover utility vehicle, or a CUV. Now the Ford Explorer came first. And here comes one now, how ironic. Now this Ford Edge is seen as a compact utility vehicle instead of an SUV like the Explorer. They're very similar, with the exception that this Edge was made in Canada, got the VIN too. Now both vehicles are all-wheel drive. This is just a little bit smaller. As we open the hood, you see a V6 engine. A 3.5 liter, naturally aspirated, non-turbocharged, port fuel injection engine. As such, these things can last forever. Now this baby wasn't used that much. It was garaged. It's got like 100,000 miles on it, and it's a 2007, so it's low mileage. Lived its life in Rhode Island, so you see superficial rust on all kinds of stuff, but as we walk around the body, it's not rotted out. Fender wells are fine. All of them. It was garage, so makes a big difference. And as we look under, check this undercarriage. There's a rarity to see in Rhode Island. Clean as a whistle. This thing was garaged a lot in the winter, you can see. I mean, look at it. Looks almost brand new. The LA wheels are in good shape. If this thing had been in the winter and assault in Rhode Island, those LA wheels would be all eaten up, and they aren't. The plastic headlights are still in pretty good shape. This car was baby. Now my customer just bought it, so we're going to see what kind of shape it's in with the old computer. Now realize Ford has sold over 8 million Ford Explorers, but they sold over 2 million of these Edges in a much shorter period of time, though they now say 2023 is the last year they're going to make the Edges that they say they're going electric. Well, to me, that sounds like a bunch of hoo-ha, because really, when you think about it, this isn't that different from an Explorer. You know, it's a little smaller, not all that much on these things. It doesn't make all that much difference. Similar engines, drivetrain systems, right? Why should they have two vehicles that are relatively similar? It would only make sense not to. So we're getting out my Autel. Maxie says Ultra. We'll turn her on. Green lights on. Plugged it in, immediately knows what it is. Doesn't screw around. I don't need to keep the data, so we'll just do standalone. It read the VIN immediately. Fast machine. And you can see it knows it's a Ford Edge. 4-valve engine, 3.5 liter automatic, 50 state emissions in the VIN. So, here we go. You can see this 07 was garage, baby. Look how clean the interior is. Doesn't look like anybody ever sat in the back seats. And it is old school. It's got MP3 player and CD, you know. It doesn't have a tape deck, though. Here we go. We'll do a fault scan. See what's going on here. Yes, it said there's 9 DTCs. The restraint control module. Battery too low. Battery's been switched. That could be it. Restraint, impact sensor fault. Lost communication with PCM. That is for the seatbelt system. Hey, the seatbelts are still here. They still click on. So who cares? We'll erase those later. Then we look at the instrument cluster. At some time since last key, the ignition's been switched on with less than 2 keys stored. Blah, 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 anti-theft, blah, blah, blah. It starts, it runs. This was a used car. Who knows how long it's sat, but everything else, green as can be. So what we're going to do is quick erase. See, everything's erased. Everything's green now. So they're not hard codes. It's not like it's missing speed sensors or something. So, and we'll check out the powertrain data. Now it's 07, so it's an old vehicle, but there'll still be quite a bit of data on these. They were still complex in 2007. Just whip through everything just to show you. Look. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. A lot of data, even on an 07. You can see the variable cam timing status. There's no faults. Now, if you drive these things long enough, stuff will wear out internally. Cam change, stuff like that, eventually will. But this thing's got a little over 100,000 miles on it, and it still runs like a clock. It's not shaking. You can see it's got no codes. A little slower. We'll get some information to show us what shape the engine is in. Look at the trim, the fuel trim. It's adding 0.09, meaning that it's only 1/100% off, and the other side is 0.1, so it's only 1/10 off out of 100%. That's pretty good. They'll even get the cylinder head temperature on this thing. It's old, but they still have a lot of data. A 6-speed automatic transmission. They're usually pretty good. We'll take it for a test and see. All the injectors, no faults. No faults on all the shift pressures, all the different solenoids, A, B, C, and D. Even shows you the spark duration of each cylinder. Pretty cool machine. All the variable valve timing data. Hey, these Canadians really know how to build this thing. I can't wait. We're going to road test it now and see how it goes, but all the data is almost perfect on a car that's what, 17 years old. Hey, that's something. So let's take it for a spin. Pretty high up in here. It's old, so it doesn't have a backup camera on it. You gotta look. I'll use the side view mirror here. I can see good enough out of that. Being up in here, we can go over this big old speed hump. No problems whatsoever. The automatic door locks still work. They just turn themselves on. And as you can see, it's idling smooth as silk. We come up to our little intersection, no one to the left. That's good enough. Here we go. Engine sounds good. Shifts like a dream. That 6-speed transmission is still smooth as silk. The early Ford Explorers had transmission problems up the wazoo, but these Edges really didn't. It might be 17 years old, but it still rides pretty good. I'm impressed. These Canadians, boy, they seem to know what they were doing. A shame they're not going to be making them after 2023. Get power, you step on the gas, they go, and still. You drive this thing on a highway 80 miles an hour, you can still get 22, 23 miles a gallon. Now in town you're going to get worse because it's a big heavy vehicle. But on the highway that's not bad for a big old all-wheel drive 6-cylinder vehicle. It's quiet to it. Hear any wheel bearings making noise or anything like that? No, all in all, it's a pretty impressive used vehicle, even though it's 17 years old. And unfortunately, it's here in Rhode Island because if it had been in Massachusetts, which is just a few miles from here, it wouldn't need any of the emissions testing because in Massachusetts, once they're 15 years old, that's it. And it's well over that. But Rhode Island, it's 25 years. So he's going to have to wait until he's 25 years old that it won't need the emissions testing here in Rhode Island. In your own state, check out what it is. I mean, in Tennessee, no one cares there isn't any. We don't care at all, but that's how it goes here. If it was in Massachusetts, it would no longer need the emissions. Granted, it would pass. There's nothing wrong with it as it stands, but there's a lot of crooked people doing that stuff, trying to sell you stuff. So now do take in consideration the modern ones are often EcoBoost, dual turbos, high pressure gasoline, direct injection stuff. It's going to wear out faster. These old ones can run forever. You're actually better off with an old one than you are a new one if it's not rusted out. This thing, as you see, was garage kept. It isn't so. Excellent vehicle. This thing can last a lot longer because it doesn't have all that tech on it. But it's got enough, as you saw, those layers and layers of data to make it run as good as this thing is still running. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Ben Kelly says, I got an 07 Suburban with a 5.3 V8. I want more power. Do you recommend I put in a 6.7 LS engine? Well, go right ahead if you want. If you think your Suburban is a gas hog now, you put that 6.7 liter V8 engine in it, and you're going to burn even more gasoline. The reason they put the 5.3 was to try to get some kind of gas mileage. It's still a gas hog, right? But you put that 6.7 liter in that big old Suburban, your gas bill is going to go up and up and up. You can do it. It's totally doable. I've seen guys do it. They want speed, but you're paying for the speed by even more gasoline you're going to be buying. LED says, Scotty, does removing the EVAP system reduce miles per gallon? I have a Kia Sophia 2000. Well, no, it's all the EVAP system does. It's an anti-pollution device, right? And it's made so that the gas vapors inside your gas tank don't go to the outside air and pollute it with hydrocarbons. So what it does is it sends the vapors through a charcoal canister, and then it filters out the hydrocarbons, at least theoretically, and then regular air can come out and not pollute the air. And when it's overloaded with stuff, then it takes the hydrocarbon gas vapors and it reroutes them back into the intake where they're burnt, because of course it's hydrocarbons, it's gasoline, so it'll burn, right? If you remove the system, it's just an anti-pollution system. Now, you'd have to make sure you sealed it all up. You can't just tear it off and then leave holes where air is getting sucked in, of course. But it's strictly an anti-pollution equipment. Now, you're breaking the law doing it, realize that, you know. I don't have anything to do with any of that stuff, but I'm just telling you the truth. It's only anti-pollution equipment. Joshua Gonger said, can you change the oil pump without taking the engine out of a 93 Chevy 1500? Well, yeah, you drop the oil pan and you get to it from the bottom. It's not that big of a deal, really. The old stuff was pretty simply made. It's run on the bottom. You just drop the oil pan and change the oil pump. Make sure you use all new gaskets, too. Get another strainer, so if that one's dirty and crowded, you get a clean strainer so it'll suck everything up fresh. No, you just take the oil pan off and get to it from the bottom. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.